Hello and welcome to the Playful Life. I am your host, Crystal, the Playful Trainer. And we've had a lot going on here at Ron Harlow Media. I'm sure you saw on Aaron's show yesterday, The Cheeky Mom. I was on there with Ron Harlow and we were talking all about the healthy lifestyle challenge that we're all doing together. And they're seeing some great results and having some amazing lifestyle changes happening for them. And so am I, because I do it with my clients as well. So if you want to get in on that, I'd love to have you in our next accountability group. It starts June 1st. So be sure to contact me here on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Any way you want to get a hold of me, Crystal at theplayfultrainer.com or on any of those social media platforms at The Playful Trainer. Also, just a reminder that there are a lot of great sponsors here at Ron Harlow Media, just to name a few. We have Dr. Tori's Dental Shop, we have Springer Realty, Just Serendipity, Karen and Ray. They're so amazing over there in Hammond doing so many great things. Humane Indiana, and of course, who could forget Big Frank Sausage. Ron and Aaron and I delivered some Big Franks over to a home health facility last Thursday. We were so happy with all the generous donations that we had gotten to take those food donations, because sometimes the home health workers get a little forgotten, in the mix of all of the responders and nurses. And so we want to make sure that the people taking care of all the people at home are getting what they need as well. So thank you so much for all your generosity with that. And today, Thursday, May 21st, I am so excited to have Elaine Bintz on my show. I got to know Elaine through the Cherville Chamber of Commerce, kind of our local chamber, and just kind of gotten to know her through the years. She's always had just so much energy, and she's such a great wealth of information about nutrition and exercise and what we talk about with healthy lifestyle. And so I'm really just happy to have this conversation with her, and we seem to be like-minded individuals. So I think this will be a great conversation. So I'm gonna bring Elaine in here. Hi, how you doing?
Hi guys, how you doing? Good morning.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
I appreciate you, rearranging your morning and, taking care of your toddler so that we can have this time together.
I appreciate you having me here. This is great.
Yeah, awesome. So I think I told you yesterday, I'm like, I want to see this wall behind you with all of these amazing, certifications and stuff. That is so cool. So, people can tell that you have a lot of things listed after your name. When I get emails from you, it's cool because after your name, there's like all these really awesome things listed. So no, don't be sorry. I think that's awesome. And I think you should tell people, all the things that you studied and, learned and earned over the years. And, we'll kind of get into that a little bit, but I know you said you've had, 20 plus years of experience, which, I mean, you don't look much older than 20 to me. So I don't know.
I'm like, how is that possible? I'm way too young for this. I was a teenager when I started.
That's right. I know. I'm like, I think about that too. I'm like, oh my gosh, how has it been that long already?
I know. It's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, like where your kind of love or interest for sort of the realm of health and fitness started for you.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Honestly, I know that a lot of people don't believe this. In reality, I really feel like I was born this way. I mean, literally, like when I was a kid, my parents said I would like literally do laps outside every day, like run around the house or run around the block. Honestly, I just love being physically active. And to be honest, like for exercise, I didn't even realize that was a degree until somebody in college was like, have you ever considered doing something like this? Like I'd always been an athlete and I'd always been active, but I didn't really know you could like do this for a living. Like I kind of thought personal training was like part-time. And then I figured out it was a major, and I literally like within that week, I changed my major. And that was
Cool.
it. And there
What
was
was
no looking back.
what was your major before that?
Well, you know what? I was only a sophomore, so I was kind of like doing all the gen eds, and I thought I would go into the medical route. And to be honest, I was a pharmacy tech. I had done a lot of different like odd jobs to like save up for college and everything. But I
Yeah.
found out that like medicine and treatment, it was a much longer road and a lot of student loan debt. Which if anybody knows me or if they followed me on Facebook, I'm really, really diligently trying to pay off my student loan debt before 40. That would be awesome. We're there.
That's
We have one
great.
more
That's a
student
great
loan.
goal.
Oh, but I mean, so many of my friends.
We're on the same track there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, isn't it a lot? It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
but a lot of my friends that did go to school and they went to medical school or the graduate route for something in the health sciences, they are sitting now on a lot of debt,
Yeah.
and it's hard now with insurance companies and reimbursements. So yeah, so I figured out prevention and I worked for the YMCA when I was in college and I loved it. I mean, honestly, and then I added nutrition as a double major like a year or two later in college. And it just became like this like fusion effect where I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you could be really physically active, but depending on what food you're putting in your body and what liquids, I mean, that can totally change how you feel every day.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That it's a dual package, right?
Yeah,
80/20 even. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I know we've talked before about that, but we both kind of got our start at the YMCA. So
yes,
what was
yes.
that like for you? What was that experience like for you?
Oh my gosh, so that was when I was in college. So I went to Illinois State University for the first degrees I got, and I worked for the Bloomington Normal Y, which let me tell you, oh my gosh, I learned so much between I worked at the front desk and I helped with the camp. I was like a summer camp counselor, and now we're even members to the Crown Point, well, the South Lake YMCA, the four Ys that are here in Northwest Indiana. I love the YMCA. I mean, I support it so much with everything that's been going on with COVID. Like we've still been paying our membership. I support, the swim lessons, any seriously, like any family friendly activity you can think about. Basically, the Y offers it. And
Yeah.
then you were working at what, Hammond?
The
The
Hammond
Hammond
Y.
Y?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
years. A little bit at
yeah.
Griffith, but mostly the Hammond one. Yeah. When
Okay.
I was in college, again, I
Yeah.
wanted to just find a job or something I could do that would be flexible around my school
Yes.
schedule. And
Yes.
so that was where I started kind of teaching a couple fitness classes there. And then that turned into, sort of looking for other gyms and teaching dance and stuff like that. But yeah, the Y was
Yeah.
always very flexible for me, and for having classes during the week that fit around my school schedule and everything else. So yeah, I loved being a part there. And then I was one of the first personal trainers that they hired when they kind of transitioned into having personal training there. So that was really great to see that growth and stuff. So it's exciting. I have, since starting my own business, I've sort of moved away from them, but I do see that like the Hammond Y finally had like just a gigantic remodeling,
Oh my
which
gosh, yes.
just makes my heart sing because, I feel like
Yes.
the Hammond Y got forgotten a little bit as far as
Yeah.
funding and stuff went. So, so really cool to see that growing
Well,
over
we
there
are
for them.
so lucky. Well, we're in Cherville, so we're like right in the middle of Hammond and Crown Point. And honestly, we just joined the Crown Point Y in the fall of 19. And oh my gosh, Crystal, literally, like I felt like I was in the middle of some resort. Like I felt like I should be in the Dells or something. I mean, have you gone to the Crown Point one?
Not in many years. It's been many years since I've been there.
Whoa, they have an outdoor water park. I mean, it's
Oh my
amazing. I mean,
goodness.
yeah, I feel like I should be paying a hotel stay just to go there.
Yeah.
And
I'm
it's
so
so
glad you
affordable.
mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that because there seems to be like this stigma, right, around kind of working out at the Y or going to the Y, or I don't know, it just seemed that way growing up at least. So like if you were affluent or something like that, you probably went to like a bigger health club or gym or something like that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you know, just hearing that the YMCA is affordable and
Oh,
so
yes.
family friendly, I think that's the most important thing, is that you're going to see the values. You're going to see, you know, families there, and, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, there's kids in activities. It's not just like drop your kid off at the daycare. It's
Right.
like, you know, put your
Right.
kid in swim lessons and then go work out or whatever. So it's just very conducive to that family
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of that, and to be honest, I mean, this is part of like the education that I got, that I do find there is definitely a difference between non-for-profit and for-profit. So I mean, with the Y, I mean, we are so lucky where we live. I have never, and I've been to a lot of Ys. I mean, I've traveled, and every time I go somewhere, you know, I look up. The Y is just great because they have that
Mm-hmm.
nationwide membership where you can drop in, show them your local membership, and you can swim there. You know, you can take, you know, sauna, whatever. And
Yeah.
in the one we have here, I'm telling you, I have been all over the country. I have never seen a Y like the Crown Point Y.
Wow.
Crown Point,
That's
Indiana. I mean,
awesome.
I know, sorry, I know we're doing a lot of kudos to the Y, but it's, oh my gosh, for
But like you
being
said,
a
it is
non-for-profit.
nationwide. So we have,
Yeah,
you know, we have viewers all over the country. So
yeah,
guys, if you
yeah.
haven't checked out your local Y, I'm sure you have one. Go check it out. Go
Yes.
support them. Go support
Yeah.
what they do. Yeah.
And I'm sure, like you, I mean, I work with a population, and people come to me all the time for chronic pain and pain management. And one of the big things is they need access to getting in a pool. And, you know, a
Mm,
lot of the local gyms are really great, they're wonderful. But if they don't have a pool, you know, a lot of people with like arthritis and back pain and knee pain, a lot of times, like land exercise, it just is not really conducive for what their body can do.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What a great point. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So so you're in college and you know
Yeah.
you're
Oh, yeah.
getting this
Sorry.
degree, and no, that's okay. I love it. See, this is what happens when we just have a conversation.
I'm like squirrel.
Um, so you know it seems like you kind of fell in love with like that
Yeah,
client relationship
yeah,
and teaching classes and
yeah.
stuff at the Y, and then so when was it that you were like, I'm gonna just do this you know, full time? Was that something that came easy as a
Yes,
transition, or?
yes. So anyone who knows me knows that when I get an idea, I pretty much just run with it. So that was that junior year of college, where I was like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. And I just went in full, you know, full 100%, jumped in both feet, decided I'm gonna do this full time. I started personal training, and the nutrition stuff, to be honest, I wasn't too confident about that until I actually graduated college and got my degree, because it just seems like there's so much to know. And honestly, even as someone who has a degree in nutrition, there are so many new diets that are coming out all the time that it's hard. I mean, I don't know, would you agree as a
Yes.
professional? I mean, like, you know, someone comes up with a new book or a new supplement, and you're like, oh my gosh, how can I research this and give you
Hmm.
a thumbs up or a thumbs down? And I mean, nutrition is really complicated.
Right, because
But
people come to you with questions, right?
right,
Because we're the
right.
experts, and so they're like, hey, I'm doing this or that, and what do you think? And yeah, so you kind of have to know what's out there and
Right,
what it's all
right. And
about. Yeah.
and you can do your general. I mean, my general, like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, you know, beans, things like that. But as far as things that are packaged in pill form, oh my gosh, those are being manufactured every day. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to keep up on it. But
Yeah.
a lot of what has driven me and motivated me to stay in this field as a professional is a lot of the challenges we're talking about. Like even right now with COVID, this whole experience, I'll be honest, the past 19 years, the first 19, I mainly worked with people in person. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I rent space at a gym in Mokina, Illinois, Body Tech, and I work here in my home in Cherville. And pretty much before COVID, I only worked remotely with people if, I don't know, say I worked with somebody for a few years and they retired and moved to Arizona or moved to
Mm.
Florida. You know, this whole like working from the phone or Skype, I hadn't really established that as a business plan, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, COVID, I was like, okay, gyms are closed. What are we gonna do? So
Yeah.
there's like never a dull moment in the fitness industry.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's very prolific and innovative of you to say, okay, well, I can't see my clients. What can I do? And
Right.
I know that, oh, wow, we have somebody watching in the Philippines. Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
That's
How's
so
the
exciting. Probably
weather?
very nice compared to how it is here.
Yeah.
But,
Mm.
we were talking about that and kind of like we've taken, like me and you, we do similar things, but how we approach this
Right.
COVID thing was very different, right?
Oh,
So,
yes.
so
Yeah.
you were like, that's it. I'm going to still meet with my clients. Like if you
Yes.
saw me at Tuesday at 11, like that's when we meet on Zoom.
Yep.
So, so tell me about that. Like what was, your thought process with like that and, keeping clients engaged when
Oh
they're at
my
home
gosh.
and
I'm going to tell you, Crystal, and I'm sure it's similar to your experience. Personal training and small group and partner, I'm very used to the in-person, I'm a high fiver. I know it annoys some people, sorry. But I can't,
me
like, there's
too.
so many strategies that I was like, oh, I love high fiving. And now I'm going to like, ooh, I can't elbow. I have to stay. This is such a different experience for me for someone I'm used to spotting people. I'm also a licensed massage therapist. I mean, I don't practice massage anymore, but I'm really used to being hands-on, and this whole new experience, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have to keep reminding myself that, okay, no, I have to stay 6 feet away. Okay, and I mean wearing the
Yeah.
gloves and wearing the mask, and it's because it is personal training and it's a personal service. It's gonna be a new spin on how we do
Mm-hmm.
things. I mean, I
Yes.
look forward to the challenge. I like variety. I obviously, I mean, I thrive on learning new things. So I don't really like staying stagnant or just doing the same thing all the time every day. But on the other hand, I think a lot of the reasons I got into this was to make people feel good about themselves and to have a personal touch. Whereas now with COVID, we have to kind of keep an arm's length or two from people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Very
going to be a
interesting.
different, yeah,
Mm-hmm. I know the
yeah.
world will be very different the way we communicate and I said there's going to be like, right, we've gone from the high five to the fist bump to the, what is like our culture and our society, like what's the thing that's going to like kind of morph out of this, right? Are we going to have
Right,
like a new hand signal or something that's, I don't know.
right,
I'm sure some
yeah.
celebrity or something will make something up and it'll catch on, but
Yeah, and I respect all that, and I get it. And obviously, as a health person, I mean, I don't know if there was this microbiology class. I know I probably shouldn't tell the story, but literally, we would put like common surfaces. We'd swab. This was in college, and you'd swab common surfaces, and you'd like put it in a petri dish and like analyze it, under like a microscope.
sure.
And you just think of like every day that I clearly remember that lab because I could not believe what was on a doorknob. And,
Wow.
fast forward a few years, and now I'm like, I get it. Every time somebody sneezes or coughs, what's in the air? So, I mean, I've been Lysol wiping. Man, they need to get more Lysol wipes at the store because I've been Lysol wiping. I'm like, can you make homemade Lysol wipes? Because I've been to so many stores and they don't have them. But anyway, I mean, you
Yeah.
do have to be more cautious and, just do the best with what we have.
Right. Yeah.
That's
I
all we
mean,
can
I think even
do.
before COVID, right? People got a little bit lax maybe about that,
Yes.
not really
Yes.
knowing, like when you're out in public, like don't put your hands in your mouth, don't put your hands in your eyes, like don't touch your face unless you've washed
Yes.
your hands, don't eat unless you've washed your hands, don't,
Yes.
and I mean these things that like they're not really new concepts. Like I feel like we learn them when
Right.
we're little and then they just sort of go out
Right.
the window, and so it's with any situation, just good to take precautions and stuff. I mean, I know I'm sure you've seen it. You've been around gyms for 20 plus years and
Yes.
I'm always very diligent about like wiping down machines and stuff after I use them. But how many of people even that, and me, I take for granted that the person before me wiped the machine.
Yes.
So I just get on it, but
Right.
I think going forward, people will be like, oh, I better wipe this down because the person before me maybe didn't, but how many times you just see people going from machine to machine, just sort of,
Right.
not
Oh, and I've
paying
been
attention to
guilty
that.
of it too. I mean, it's the same thing. I think like, oh, I have a really healthy diet and I'm healthy and I do the best I can. And I mean, the truth of the matter is we are going to have to up our game and be even more diligent about sanitizing. And
Yeah.
having a 2-year-old, yeah. Okay, so we have a mask for him. I know we are not going to just talk about COVID this whole time, but I have
Right.
one of those little toddler masks. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you. Like in real life, I mean, just anything you can think of a toddler doing. I mean, we have been diligent about not having him in stores, not taking him, outside
Yeah.
of daycare. He has not been going anywhere. But the truth of the matter is, I have to be always wiping his hands. I'm wiping the steering wheel. I'm thinking about like, okay, how is he eating? Granted, restaurants aren't open, so we're not going anywhere. He's eating at home. But even just common everyday things, you have to be even more diligent about sanitizing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to reopening here in Cherville June 1st. So I have a little over a week. I've been deep cleaning. I have Stanley Steamer coming next week to help to do another deep clean of the carpet. But I mean, I try to let that little anxiety get calm because I think like, okay, I am deep cleaning and I'm wiping everything and I'm sanitizing. But I have to not like let myself lose my mind and lose my sanity. There's only so much I could do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's good, as long as people know that you're taking precautions. And I feel like people would probably rather come to your home and, oh, Charlene is watching.
Hi.
Char. She said
Hi.
she knows you.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
glad she's
Okay.
on here. Cool.
Okay.
We're going to connect later this week, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
Um, but people coming to your home rather than like going to a
Yes.
gym where like there's all these people, right, coming in and out. So tell me about that, because I know you said that you've when we spoke before that you've worked at that gym in Mokina for many years, and
Oh,
you still have
yeah.
that. But what was the transition of sort of you being like, you know what, I kind of want to do this from home, and was that something that like
Okay.
became
Yeah.
became like important to you after having a child, or what was that like for you?
So actually that transition happened and I'm sorry, my earbuds like keep falling out of my ear. It's weird. So sorry, I don't know, it's not like a nervous habit because I wear these when I work remotely with people and they never fall out. And I'm moving
Oh.
usually. But anyway, so I've actually worked more so in a commercial setting, in a gym setting. So I would say from the year 2000 until 2015. So 15 years. The first part of my career, the bulk of it has been in a gym setting. And my husband and I had struggled a little bit with getting pregnant. Like I had miscarriages and stuff. And it was a point where I had to have some honest conversations with myself and my doctor about my stress level, and I am pretty type A. If anybody hasn't picked that up. But so I mean, I would literally have weeks, Crystal, I'm not kidding you. I would have weeks where I would be working like 65, 70 hours a week. And if anybody out there has struggled with getting pregnant and bringing a baby to term, yeah, we as moms need to check our stress level because I definitely think stress, it plays a huge role in and not just conceiving and having a baby, and it's just everyday mental health.
Yeah.
So I made the decision at the end of 2015 to work from home. So we had moved to Indiana summer of 15. And I kind of toyed with the idea, I thought about it a little bit, but I love the gym in Illinois. I love it. I mean, really, it's such an energetic environment. It's a gym where people like go to work out. They're not there to like pick. Maybe they are. I don't know. I'm married, so I mean, I'm looking at it like they're here to work out. They look great. They're doing a good job. This is where I want to be. This is the gym for me. And I'm from the south suburbs of Chicago. This is a great spot. But working from home, I got the concept because we had a house that it would make sense to have this type of environment. I have a separate where clients can come directly into the room I'm in right now, and this is where we work out. And also with my educational background, I mean, people have been telling me for years, you know, why don't you do remote services and why don't you do webinars and things like that? And to be honest, I was intimidated by the technology. You know, I mean, that in the past 2 months, I had to get over that intimidation so quick. I mean, I've
Right.
watched a podcast. This is my first time being a guest on a podcast.
Yay.
You know, I've watched YouTube, but it took me years to finally make my own YouTube channel, you know, things like that, that I have been intimidated by the technology. So I'm working on that. But working from home, so I worked from home full time 2016, 17, 18, and part of 19. So in that time, I did have a couple miscarriages, but then I had a baby, and he will be 3 in 2 months. His name's Victor. So, I mean, that worked out. And I will be, oh my gosh, I have so much respect for working moms. I have no idea. Like the whole nursing thing, breastfeeding and working full time and like getting 2 hours of sleep. I don't know if anybody's been there. But wow, I'm telling you, Crystal, did I dig into a new type of resilience I didn't even know I had. I mean, it was our first year with Victor, I was working from home full time. I wasn't working outside of the home. And I think in the end that was a blessing because I can't, I mean, I have clients. I mean, I work with a lot of moms. I'm certified in prenatal, you know, so I work with a lot of women that want to become moms throughout the pregnancy process. And I mean, I've talked to moms who are literally like on the expressway, you know, before the whole COVID thing, they're like, you know, in their car pumping, you know, returning phone calls, they're and I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm I'm stressing about like dropping my kid off at daycare and being home for my first client and did I wash my linens and oh my gosh, I have to take my dog out of what am I making for I mean, literally, this is going in my mind and I'm thinking, I cannot imagine the whole pumping, breastfeeding experience and having to commute like from Indiana or the
Right.
suburbs to downtown Chicago. And then where do you pump when you're at? I mean, these are things I didn't need to consider because that first year I was working from home full time. But
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
wonderful. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for the moms who had breastfed, I don't care if you did it for 1 day or 1 year, major kudos to you because breastfeeding is a huge commitment. Worth it. Worth it. I did it for a year.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good, but when the year was over, I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that you're sharing that. That's so
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
I had been looking we had Erin on last week and she's a mom and you know she was talking about things but like for the month of May that's what I wanted. I wanted moms
Okay.
on the podcast to you know talk about that. Talk about the
Yeah.
experience of, you know, how do you balance life and work and health and you know it sounds like
Yeah.
for you, you know, you really had to take a major look at your own health. You know, here you are, somebody who's
Oh, yeah.
helping other people, you know, to be healthy and, you know, having some struggles yourself. So, when did you get certified in the prenatal? Was that before you had Victor or after? Or let's
Okay, it was 2016. You know what?
That's so funny.
Actually, this is a funny story. You are the first person to ask me this. I didn't know. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to get emotional. I did not know I was pregnant when I was taking that course.
Oh my goodness.
Because when I finished it, it was a year-long course and it was like, it's called Healthy Moms. Oh my gosh, she is amazing. Check it out if you are interested. So I had always worked with pregnant women, but it was never really something that I had like extensive study. I might take like a month or two course, but this one,
Mhm.
it's literally called Healthy MOMS Moms. It's a year. It was a year-long course, and then you have a self-study, and you have to do like a case study and an essay and all this stuff. But I didn't know during the time when I was doing that I was pregnant, but I did find out a month later because I miscarried. But I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. But we were
Wow.
planning. We were in the planning process of
Yeah.
trying to get pregnant. So, isn't
Yeah.
that
Oh my
crazy how life
goodness.
happens?
That is so crazy.
But
Yeah.
I do think a lot of moms, and this is not just coming from the health experience. It that week of my life, like delivering our son and then becoming a mom, totally life changing. I mean, any priority you have had in the past, if it is not absolutely 100% like I have to take a shower, I have to brush my teeth. If it is not a priority, I'm telling you, becoming a mom, it just becomes this like I in my experience anyway, it's like this 100% focus. So
Mhm.
I think maternity leave is such a wonderful thing because I can't imagine going back to work like a couple weeks after having a baby because you are just physically recovering and emotionally recovering. It's just such a for me. And granted, this was my first,
Right.
um, it
Of
was just
course.
such a change. And then being in the fitness industry, I mean, and I'm all about forgiveness, not judging yourself, not judging others. But as a woman in the fitness industry, I mean, I gained 50 pounds,
Mhm.
50, 50. I gained 50 pounds. I'm five foot
That's so
two, so
crazy. I remember seeing you at meetings when you were pregnant. You did not seem 50 pounds heavier,
that
but
meeting I saw you at, okay, that July meeting, it was at what's that Italian restaurant in off of Route 30 in Dyer, uh,
oh, Little
in
Italy.
July. Yes, Little
Yeah.
Italy. Yes. Okay, that meeting. Yes, that I saw you at. Literally, I had Victor on Friday, 2 days later,
Ah,
because
that's so crazy.
he came 3 weeks early. I wasn't due until the following month, but I delivered. So I literally
Wow.
worked until the day. So kudos to being healthy and being fit and working out, because I was active during my pregnancy.
Okay.
Honestly, I, I, I worked, and it wasn't planned that way. I was planning on taking a week off before my due date, but I literally worked until not even 24 hours before I delivered our son on my
He
feet
was
as a
like,
personal trainer.
this ziti pasta is just too good. I need to
Yeah,
come into the
I mean,
world right now.
isn't that crazy? I think about that now, and I'm like, my whole life totally changed. And I'm a planner, so I'm like, I got time. I got time to wash those newborn clothes.
Right?
I got time to, clean
Yep.
bottles. And yeah, no, that's not how things happen. Not at all. But in the fitness industry, it's you have to learn to just be kind to yourself because no matter what you're going through, I mean, I have friends that have been in this industry 40 years, and they're now gone through menopause, and they tell me, they're like, Elaine, your body is going to be different in some time, so you are going to have to be kind to yourself, and in the body you had in your 20s, it's going to be a different body in your 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I noticed that definitely like in my 30s, there are certain things that like, you know what, like I can't do, or I feel
Yeah.
like, maybe I shouldn't do physically what I did when I was in my 20s. And that's cool, but I'm still very healthy and I still push myself.
Yeah.
And, but I think too, we'll kind of talk like segue into this next thing I kind of want to talk about, but, being healthy and taking care of your body, like, I think people very often equate like, I work out to lose weight, or I work out to have abs,
Oh
or I
yeah.
work out to,
Yeah.
whatever. It's always tied to like this physical aesthetic thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, as the playful trainer, like I like my goal is to educate people, like, that's great. If you want, a six pack and whatever, and that's your goal, or, like
Yeah.
those are fine goals to have. But for the majority of Americans or humans,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just not going
Yes.
to be their reality.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think people
Oh
get very
yeah. Let's get real.
discouraged. Yeah, people get very discouraged. I
Yeah.
mean, I work out every day, right? And I like, I have to be like, where is my six pack? I have like two. I mean, that is the reality. But people get
Yeah.
so discouraged. They're like, well, I've been going to the gym for 3 months. Why don't I look like so and so? Or,
Yeah.
especially today, because like with
Yeah.
Instagram and all this stuff, like,
Yeah.
Photoshop and people just like the
Oh,
way
yeah.
fitness is presented in the world right now is just very
Yes.
it's very aesthetic driven. And so,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I
Oh,
know that
yeah.
we have talked about like, no, you know, like nutrition is probably even a more important component to how you look than like exercise,
Yeah.
but as far as losing weight and stuff. But I mean, just really just taking care of like the one body that we have that's going to take us through the rest of our life. So
Yeah.
how is your you know, sort of philosophy with that, like with the exercise part of it, and like how you approach that with your clients?
You know, that's a really good question. And I like a lot of what you said because I totally agree with you, Crystal. And I mean, a lot of this I know that we can find, you know, in everyday information and articles. But the truth is, guys, if you're listening and you're hearing two trainers who have been in the field for a long time, give yourself a break. You know, things take time. And the truth of the matter is, genetics, in this regard, genetics play a big role. So I'm sorry, I'm 5'2". I am not ever, would never consider being in the WNBA because I am 5'2". Like that is just not going to happen, people. But the truth is, you have to start where you are. So in honestly, my health coaching really helped me develop a system for this. So going to school and studying what a health coach does and how that's different than a nutritionist and how that's different from a personal trainer. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the concept what you're talking about is, yeah, 70% of Americans are overweight. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what are we going to do with that? So that means if you and I each meet 10 new people in a week, if we look at the numbers, 7 out of 10 are going to be overweight. So what's their primary motivator? Usually it's going to be weight loss. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? There is so many other benefits from moving your body. And I will tell you, coming from someone who I've done the weight fluctuation with pregnancy, I've had the times I've competed in these crazy, like, you know, natural bodybuilding events. The truth of the matter is at the end of the day, you need to be happy. So if you are on some low carb diet that is making you ragingly mood crazy, or you and your spouse are fighting, or you don't have the patience to deal with your kids, or you know you're struggling to find time to like work out 3 hours a day, and you know the truth is you just gotta start where you are. So the majority of Americans, they don't work out, they don't move. So where do we start? Okay, what do you like to do? I mean, literally, if you like pole dancing, great. There are business. I don't know if they're open yet, or I don't know how that's
June
anyway.
1st.
So, I don't know. I know Indiana's different than the other states. A lot of businesses are reopening in Indiana. But if there's something you enjoy, do it. Do it,
Mm-hmm.
but don't always calculate in your mind, like, oh, how many calories? Well, I should be. Oh, that's a word I hate. Anybody who knows me knows. Elaine, how much should I be doing? How many calories should I be eating? How many servings of vegetables should I? And it's like, I can spend all day sending you to the federal guidelines on this is what you should do. But the truth of
Mm-hmm.
the matter is, you should be doing what you enjoy. So if you like bike riding, go bike ride. If you like swimming, go swim. If you like yoga, do yoga. But like running is a great example. I'm a former long distance runner. I loved running. Running for years, did marathons. Great. Most people like that, what you just did, I would say 9 out of 10 people are like, a question I always ask in the free consult is, are there any exercises that you avoid? What's the
Ah,
number one exercise they avoid? Running. Why?
running.
Because it hurts. It hurts the body. And I get it now. I ran for many years. I don't run anymore because my young 30 something knees, they accumulated
Mm-hmm.
rather damage over the past 20 some years I spent running and pounding. And if we did this interview 10 years ago, Crystal, I was still running 10 years ago. I would have been like, everybody should run, and running is the best, and running burns so many calories. But now and that's the joy I get out of doing what I've been doing for 20 years is now I get it. If you like walking, throw your headphones on, listen to some music, call a friend, go walk, do something you enjoy.
I
And
love
you
that.
you just have to be, you have to start where you are. So like the whole calories question is, let's say, I don't know, let's use 1 year as an example. So let's say, this is what, May of 2020. So May of 19, let's say you were, I don't know, 5 pounds lighter. So somewhere, somehow you gain 5 pounds. Well, the conversation with how much you should be eating or what you should be eating usually starts with, when you were lighter, what were your dietary habits? So what's one step we can take, to get closer to that? So if when you were like, you felt like you were in the best shape of your life, you had the most energy, you felt great, you were happy, you fit into the clothes you like, let's revisit that mentally. And I mean, yeah, it could have been when you were like 18 or 19. So if, you are 20, 30, 40 years later, that might not be a realistic goal. But what was your life like? I mean, did you eat 3 meals a day? Did you skip breakfast? Were you smoking? Were you drinking? Were you drinking like a lot? What were your life circumstances like? And, and that's why I love personal training, because one-on-one we can ask these questions and we can kind of figure out from the person what worked for that person.
Yeah, that's great. I love that that concept and that approach, because it's like saying that, well, you did this before, you can do it again. Because I think a lot of people are like, I could never do that, right? I could never fast. I could never skip breakfast. I could, and you're just like, well, you did, you did this thing before. So obviously you could do it again, I'll have people say, well, like a couple years ago, I lost 30 pounds. I'm like, you lost 30 pounds? Like, that's epic,
That's
and it's just like, oh, you always look to what you've accomplished to give you that confidence that you can do it again and still get to those goals. Yeah.
And a big part of it is your environment. So I mean, if you, depending on your relationships and what you've set up around you. So let's say, for example, you're living in an environment where, I don't know, say your spouse has also gained weight. Well, usually they kind of go hand in hand. Like if the husband and the wife, if one's gained weight, usually the other one gains weight at the same time. So what's your support system like? And what are you exposed to? So if your environment, like a lot of my clients have a treadmill. Where's the treadmill? It's under the bed, or it's folded up in some like really not inviting corner,
right? Or in the room with everything else with clothes on top of it or something,
Right. It's like, in the beginning, if it's something you want to use and it's free and you don't want to go outside, dust it off. If it doesn't work, hire a repair person. We have a local guy here in Dyer. I don't know if you, every now and again, I have him come and maintain my equipment. And his name's Art. He's Art, the fitness guy, can give you his info. But literally, like, it's awesome. If you have a fine-tuned machine, and he's super affordable. If you've bought like a $2,000 treadmill and it doesn't work, it doesn't cost that much to have someone come and take a look at it. Because I know like Sears and a lot of other companies, they don't offer those services anymore. But just make your environment more inviting. And if you literally know you should be doing something but you don't want to actually do it, I call it pairing, like habit pairing or habit stacking. So like Netflix, like I'll say for myself, I only get to watch Netflix if I'm walking on the treadmill. And it's not because I don't like walking, it's because my life is so busy. I'm married with kid and work. So for me to like sit down and watch television for 20 minutes uninterrupted, I personally, and this is no judgment on anybody else, I just have this guilt, like I should be cleaning the bathroom. Oh my gosh, I think I need to do this. I need to, so I'm like, if I'm on the treadmill and I'm walking, I get to watch Netflix.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
And again, this is just me, I probably should do more yoga. Yeah.
Yeah. I started doing when I broke my ankle back last year, and just had like, just like I know I need to do my exercises.
Yes.
my
Yes.
therapy stuff. And like, if Audric's watching my therapist, he's gonna be like, Crystal, you gotta be doing it. But and here I am telling everybody like, do your stuff, and then like
Oh
at the end
yeah.
of the day, I'm like, oh, I didn't do my stretches, you know. But
Yeah.
so I've started, you know, just kind of doing that. Like at the end of the day, instead of just sitting on the couch and just
Yeah.
vegging, you know, I'm like, well, I can stretch, you know, I can get down on the floor and watch
Yeah.
whatever's happening and, you know,
Yeah.
stretch my ankles and do my exercises and stuff. So yeah.
Is your ankle feeling better?
It's getting there, you know.
Yeah.
So I was going to see Audric Warren. He is awesome.
Okay.
He's over in Dyer, actually. He's probably
Okay.
not that far from you. Kind of like 101st
Okay.
and what is it, Sheffield or Hart
Okay.
Road or
So
whatever that
closer
is.
to St. John.
Yeah, closer to St.
Okay.
John. He's got a facility there though, and does like sport rehabilitation and
Oh, okay.
like performance, you know, therapies and stuff for like a lot of athletes.
Okay.
So, and I've known him a long time. So I was like, you know, I think I need this because Elaine, I've had ankle injuries like my whole life. Just being a dancer and all that. Like, I don't know if I just have weak ankles or whatever, but I never went to see someone like him. So I just kept
Oh,
re-injuring these things over and over
okay.
again. And mostly they were sprains, mostly they were, you know, strained muscles or, you know, just like twists, you know, but
Yeah.
this last one was a break. And so
Oh
it's just
no.
like, okay, you know, this is the wake up call where like this is going to keep happening unless I
Yeah.
really take care of this problem. So, you know, after it healed, I started going to him and just he did,
Good.
you know, amazing things for, you know, kind of loosening it up and taking care of the pain and stuff. So, you know, with COVID, I wasn't able to go. Yeah, Char remembers me spraining my ankle. She's known me a long time. She's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, just having resources like that to say like,
Yes.
yeah, you know, like we fight through injuries a lot of times. But
Yes.
you know, it turns out that like sometimes an ankle injury can then manifest itself as knee pain or hip
Mm-hmm.
in alignment or back pain or, you know, all these other things start to like get out of whack because we have this
Yeah.
weakness or this thing that we do that we don't really realize. And so I just like that was very eye-opening to me because, you know, like we were just talking
Yeah.
like, you know, we're type A, so we just keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't take time off. I have to teach my classes. Like I
Yeah.
was
Yep.
teaching my classes at the gym in like a boot. Like,
Oh
you
wow.
know, like
Yeah.
I went to
That's
Italy in the
commitment.
boot too. So yeah, it was just
Oh
like
wow.
nuts. Like, so, you know, but it's one of those things like, I'm like, I can't take time off. I can't stop teaching. I
Yeah.
can't like, this is
Yeah.
my livelihood now, you know? So,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what a wake up call to be like, well, I don't want this happening and happening and happening. Like,
Right.
because the
Right.
next time I might not be able to put weight on it at all. And then I'm going to be
Yeah.
totally screwed, you know?
Oh no. You gotta walk. You
So
have to be able to walk. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Just like the
Yeah.
simple things that we take for granted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're like
um
teaching dancing with like your crutch. Sorry.
so nuts. It's so nuts.
I'm sorry. It's like
Ah,
in my mind. Sorry. It's true though. I mean, we're human beings too, you know, but you're right, especially if this is your career and you're used to up and going and that's what you're doing. I mean, you kind of had to figure it out. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's awesome to have a resource. Yeah, and if you can share that in the description, I don't know if you could do that. Because
Oh, yeah.
those are the kinds of resources. I mean, I've only been here in Northwest Indiana for a few years, or I think it's yeah, we've been here 5 years. But the truth is, like a lot of my network that I refer people to, if they need like a mental health professional or you know an orthopedic surgeon, a lot of my network is
Yeah.
still in Illinois because I'm from
Ah,
Illinois. So I lived in Illinois for 32 years. And, you know, for a long time, we were still going back to our vet in Illinois, the dentist. You know, there was our car. Literally, until a few months ago, I was still going to the same car dealership in Illinois because we're so close, you know.
yeah.
But it's that is so key to have resources you can just give someone and say, hey, check them out. You know, see if this is in your insurance or you know if it would work with your
Mm-hmm.
schedule. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Building a network's really
yeah.
important.
And I'm still working on that in Northwest Indiana. So I'm open to any of those resources or those people that you have in your network.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. For
Yeah,
sure.
that
Yeah,
would
I
be
did put
great.
that down here. I'll send you his name too.
Thank
But
you. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. So what's like a takeaway that you would want, listeners or viewers to kind of, your sort of like soundbite of advice, or,
Oh,
what,
wow. Ooh, that's a good
I don't
one.
know, like could be anything, it could
Hmm.
be some nutrition or some, like how do you find what works for you, or, like what would be
Okay.
your advice for someone, especially now, like coming out of COVID,
Oh, yeah.
for,
Yeah.
like, some people will go back to their gyms and like,
Right.
some people have
Yeah.
a plan, but I think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't have a plan, that maybe they were struggling before this happened.
Yeah.
And now that they've been
Yeah.
home for 2 months, like, whoa, they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't even know where to start. Like, what
Yeah.
what would you tell those people?
You're right. To be honest, we are entering uncharted territory because I would typically recommend that somebody check out their local gym. And the truth of the matter is, and I've had several conversations with clients this week about it, there's a lot of hesitation for the everyday person to return to any social place. It's not just gyms. People are hesitant, to go to the grocery store, to sit
Mhm.
at a restaurant,
Mhm.
there's birthday party places, these jumpy places, there is hesitation and anxiety to go back to any place that's social, whether it's a bar or a dance studio, a gymnastics gym. So I think it's important first, if someone's coming out of the gates and they didn't have like a trainer before or a plan, and this is something this is common this time of year. May, we're thinking about bathing suits, we're thinking about vacations. I think, some
Yeah,
people are. We have the
definitely.
dunes here. I plan on taking my son to the beach, things like that. I will be in a bathing suit. So I think the first thing to figure out is, what are your resources right now? So a common resource we all have is to go outside. So like you are rehabbing an ankle injury. And do you know, our physical therapy places, are they open right now for in-person services?
That's a good question. I feel like I've seen them open, like maybe
Okay.
appointment only,
Okay.
starting this week. So I know Audric, for instance,
Okay.
he just put an announcement on Facebook that he was going to be reopening. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So like if you are somebody out there and you have been experiencing some sort of joint problem, like your ankle or anything like that, I would address that before you even start an exercise program. So my theory is, like, when I tell people my mission, hi, my name's Elaine Bintz. My mission is to get people out of pain, get them disease free, prevent disease, and then work on health and fitness. I mean, that's not just like an elevator speech. Literally, the focus needs to be on getting out of pain. So if
Yes.
you're someone and you're thinking, wow, I really want to get in shape, or I really want to lose weight, or, there is this wedding coming up this fall, I think the wedding's going to happen, I'd like to fit into this particular outfit. If you've already been having back pain, honestly, let's get real, Crystal. People have been sitting a lot. They have.
Mm-hmm.
They've been home. They haven't done, I mean, some have gone golfing and things like that. A lot of people, a lot of my clients are grandparents. They haven't been
Yeah.
playing with their grandkids. They
No.
haven't been babysitting. They haven't, a lot of them getting up and down off the floor. I mean, I'll tell you, a big motivator for a large portion of my clientele is they want to be able to keep up with their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's why they're active. That's like their number one. I want to take them swimming, and I want to not be afraid of me drowning, and I want to be able to take care of my grandkids and play with them in the lake or the pool, and I want to be confident as the grandma or grandpa.
Yeah.
I would say, address that pain. And if that's physical therapy, or if you're having like mental emotional stuff, see a mental health professional. A lot of them are offering remote services, like a
Yeah.
therapist. You can work on that. And I know I'm talking about things that are not diet and exercise related,
No, that's
but
fine.
the
It's
truth is,
all inclusive.
they're all related. I mean, I can't
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you how many people I do a free consultation, which can be like over the phone, or um, video, remote, or in person starting soon. But during the free consultation, I listen, and I'm gathering info to see what the person really needs.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone comes to me and they're saying, I've had chronic back pain for like 20 years, I don't know that we should start with exercise. Maybe I refer them to
Mm-hmm.
a chiropractor, or maybe they go meet with their doctor and they get a referral and see if they need some x-rays or an MRI. And then if you are past that point, your body feels good, you don't have anything like lingering, like a shoulder issue or a back issue, or a hip issue, then you need to become aware of what you want. What is your why? So if I was doing, a first meeting, I'm meeting somebody and they tell me, I want to take my kids to the beach and I want to be confident in my outfit and I want to be able to walk through the sand and pull a cooler and hold so and so's hand and I feel like I'm not winded. Okay, let's start working on cardiovascular. Let's start working
Yeah.
on a little bit of strength training. I want to be able to bring my foot up across my knee and tie my shoes. Let's work on
Yeah.
some flexibility. Okay, what are and
Huge.
there's so I mean even this there's so many free resources. You can literally YouTube if the person has access, to the internet. And libraries are reopening now, so they can use the computer. But you can YouTube things. But finding their why is really important because if you don't have something pulling you to magnetize you toward where you want to be, I think
Mhm.
everything else just kind of like falls apart. Like there's
Right.
not a main focus,
Yes.
Like me, I have a 2-year-old. Well, he's going to wake up early. He's going to wake up at night. He's going to run around. He's going to run out in the street. I need to keep myself at least cardiovascularly in shape. And he weighs 40 pounds and still wants to be picked up, Crystal.
Ah, wow.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I mean, yeah, I lift weights, but he is my weight.
Yeah.
He still wants to be held a lot, which he is heavy for his height.
Hmm.
He is just like a dense kid. But then, so once you get into the why and what's pulling you, and the truth is, if you really still don't have the resources or the ability to put it all together, hire a professional.
Yeah.
Have a consultation. Google a local person, or one of us have a free
Right.
meeting and
That's
see.
right.
Because there's so many people in the free consult. I can say, okay, it's not, here's what I'm hearing. Okay, is what I'm hearing right? Okay, cool. It sounds like you'd benefit from this. Okay, how about you go do that for 3 months and call me, and if I can be of more assistance, great. And then go forth and conquer. But a lot of people need accountability. They
Mm.
need
Bingo.
assistance. They need like, you talk to me about this, but I'm not exactly sure how to do it. Maybe you do a session, even remotely, this is what you do. Or,
Hmm.
hey, I've been having like pain on the outside of my knee when I've been doing that walking program we talked about, and then, you can talk as a professional, like about the wear pattern on the shoes and, or you can refer them. Like I refer people to Fleet Feet here all the time or the New Balance store because they do shoe fittings for free.
Right. Yeah,
And then just
exactly.
following up. And if you have someone in your life, like an accountability person, so if you're someone who hasn't, worked with a professional like you or I, having someone in your personal life who's going to hold you accountable. So I mean, that could be your best friend who lives in Utah.
Hmm.
But just
Right.
having a conversation, even if it's once a week, to say like, hey, I don't know, every Thursday at 8 a.m. can we talk on the phone and can we kind of explore my goal? Because you can make this goal and like write it somewhere you're going to see every day. But the truth is, if you have no one to reinforce, like, hey, you and I talked about you going for a 30-minute walk, 5 to 7 days a week. How's that going? I
Yeah.
mean, that's a
Yeah.
big part. That's a big part of what I do.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
first few minutes of every session is, hey, how you doing?
Hmm.
How's the past week been going? How are
Hmm.
the last few days? How you
It's
feeling?
that
Yeah.
concept of like you don't have to do it alone, and
No. Oh
even
no.
exploring or defining your
Oh
why.
yeah.
Like that's what you're
Yeah.
there for. That's what I'm here for. Like, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to
No.
understand
Nobody does.
where the destination is. You just have to
Right.
know, that you want to change, right?
Yeah.
That something needs to
Yeah.
change. And I think
Yeah.
usually by the time people call us,
Yes.
they're at least at that point where they're like something needs to change, whether it's
Yeah.
pain, whether it's emotional pain, mental
Yeah.
pain, physical pain,
Yeah.
something is out of line and they know it, so we
Yeah.
just like that's that's what we do, is kind of bring that
Yeah.
out and tell them
Yeah,
what to do
and
next. So
then be real with them. I know I'm originally from like the south suburbs of Chicago, and I'm just straight with people. I just tell them, if you have this goal, I am going to tell you you're going to have barriers. I don't know what the deal is with places opening and like Father's Day and getting together in person, but I can guarantee you. Let's say I don't know your goal is to eat less sugar. Okay, you're gonna go to a family party, and there's gonna be this spread of food, and you are gonna come up into a barrier. So how are you gonna deal with that when it happens? Because
yeah,
that's the truth. And like planning that in your mind, like, you're right. Yeah, maybe I let myself have one or two desserts, whereas maybe that person normally would have five or six,
right, exactly. Yeah,
because
and just
they're gonna happen. And as soon as people go
sure.
back to the office, that's like a huge thing. I've heard my clients who commute downtown is the whole. I mean, it's cliche. I'm assuming it's true in a lot of offices. They have like an office or a lounge, like a
Hmm.
break room. Break room is the
Yeah,
word I'm looking. And they have donuts and bagels and just pastries. And a lot of people
yes.
that are working remotely, they don't have that right now.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for a lot of people. I mean, I know I've been there. I worked in the dental office for years, and
Oh
oh my
yeah.
gosh, especially
Yeah.
around Christmas time, like people flood you with,
Yeah.
cookies and cake. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
dentist and they're still
Yeah.
giving you, chocolate and candy, and it's just there. It's there, and other people are doing it, and you feel like, okay, she's doing it. I feel like I should do it. And
Yeah.
it's, like you're saying, if you don't have a why big enough,
Right.
and, somebody that is going to be like, I have to tell that person that I ate this, like
Right.
keeping you accountable,
Yeah.
like we're human. How are you supposed to
Yeah.
say no,
Yeah. Yeah. And things are going to happen. And it's not that perfection is the expectation, but,
Right.
okay, so Christmas happened. All right. So your birthday happened. Okay. So you gained 2 or 3 pounds. All right. Well, where for December 25th, there is going to be December 26th. So let's look at the next, in that, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the people who, because I have two right now prepping for wedding. Hopefully their weddings still happen this fall. But that's a question I always ask is, okay, this is our plan. So after you accomplish your goal and you fit in that dress or you look great at that reunion or you look great at that anniversary party, what about the day after?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, if they're establishing these healthy habits, then it shouldn't, be anything else.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I'm preparing for a pageant, right? The Mrs.
Okay.
Indiana pageant.
Okay.
And, I mean, I've just kind of been working on these goals and working on these goals. And, eventually our pageant will happen, hopefully at the end of June, but it's kind of gotten pushed back from April
Oh
to
yeah.
May and now May to
Yeah.
June. And, just sort of seeing all the girls and like, we're all very like focused on our, like just focused, and,
Yeah.
we joke because I
Yeah.
think the I don't know, the perception of like pageant girls is like, okay, after like the day after the pageant,
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, thank God I can go back to eating pizza and burgers and like, drinking 8 beers. But that's not the reality. Like, we
Yeah.
don't, like, this is a
Yeah.
lifestyle for me. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm just, like I'm super laser focused right now, but like, that's just how I live anyway. It's not like, okay, like
Yeah.
I'm going to get off stage after that and then just like go gorge myself for the next 3 weeks. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not how it works. But I think like people don't understand that, that like once
Yeah.
you're living the lifestyle, like it's easy just to live the lifestyle,
Yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
it's hard to imagine a life without pizza 3 times a week or, a couple beers a week, right? You go like, well, I don't even know. I can't even imagine life
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
you get there slowly, and then like that
Yeah.
just becomes your new normal, right? Like we didn't
Yeah.
think when they told us we had to stay in place for a month, whatever, we had
Yeah.
no idea how long we'd be staying at home. We're like, I don't know. I don't know if I can give up,
Right.
socializing. I don't know if I can give up being at the gym, and I don't know if I can give up this and that. But you did, right? And now that like
Yeah.
the world is opening back up again, people are
Yeah.
like going through that transition again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of used to being at home every day, and this is going
Yeah.
to be weird to go back to, but you
Yeah.
sort of settle into these new normals, and they're scary at first, but eventually they just become easier and easier.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I love the clients who, when they tell me in the beginning, like, Elaine, I'm on a budget, I can only handle so much. I'm like, if you, let's just say, I don't know, let's pick 12 because it's a nice dividable number, divisible. If you can only pay for 12 sessions, okay, that's what you have in your budget for what we're doing. I'd rather meet with you once a month for a year and touch base with you every other week
Mm.
or whatever, shoot you a text or email. And I'd rather incrementally see your change every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I'd rather see
Oh,
that growth in a year than meet 3 times a week for 4 weeks, because at the end of the 4 weeks, you're gonna be like, yes, I'm done. And the truth
yeah.
is you don't have that long-term change. I call it the one percenter. Like I honestly, and granted, this is just the way I function. So I'm really not like a boot camp type bajillion trainer. I'm really not.
Right.
I'd rather say like, hey, okay, every day you were getting a venti. I don't even know all the names, but so like it was like, I don't know, 500 calories. I don't even know if that's true. I'm just making that up. But if you were doing that, like, could we move to, oh, is it grande? Grande's the middle one, right? Then the one less
Oh,
than
yeah. Granny's
venti.
the middle one. Yep.
Grande, yeah. So could we go
Yep.
from like venti to grande, and then can we do that for a month? And if your body adapted and you're not craving it, and then the next, whatever's the next smaller
The
size,
tall,
tall, yeah.
tall.
So like this is a bad example I'm giving, um, but that they incrementally make these changes over like 3 months. Because if you all of a sudden just make a huge switch, like you went from eating ice cream every night, before going to bed, to like never allowing yourself to have ice cream, I'd say, physiologically, taste wise, mentally, and your limbic system, your little pleasure system, is going to say, nope, I want that ice cream after 1 or 2 nights. It'll probably even say that within the first hour of you missing that ice cream. So why
Yeah.
don't you either substitute, have some other sugar, your dessert type of thing, or say every other night, and say like, you know what? If I went 7 days a week having it, how about, today is Thursday. I'm not going to have it tonight, but I get to look forward to it because I can have it on Friday. And that's
Yeah.
cool. And then, you know what? On Saturday, I'm going to skip it, but then I get to have it again on Sunday. But then maybe over time, maybe like, I don't know, by June, July, maybe 4th of July, maybe they won't crave ice cream every night.
Yeah. Oh, I
It's
love that. That's
I
so
don't know.
good. Yeah.
I don't
It's not
know.
as
After
scary.
20 years, you got to figure out, everybody's different. I mean, that is so true. You can have twins. I've worked with twins and they're so different. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So I don't know.
Elaine,
Is there one takeaway? I don't know. There's a lot. Sorry, guys.
oh gosh, yeah, I feel like we got a lot. Shar put in the comments, sustainable lifestyle changes.
Thank
That is
you.
it. She
Great
summed it
word.
up for us.
Thank you, Shar. Yes, all that rambling to say sustainable. Find something you can live with.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much.
Yes.
And I know I want to honor your time. I said I'd have you out of here by 9:15, so we're getting there. So tell our viewers, our listeners, where they can find you, and I'll
Okay.
make sure I put this in the comments for everybody as well.
Okay, so my name is Elaine Bintz, just like how Crystal has it. You're going to have it spelled Bintz somewhere.
Yes.
So I am on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm also on Google as a business. I don't have a website anymore. I did deactivate that last year. But basically, the best way for people to reach me is shoot me a message on Facebook. I mean, that's the quickest way. You can go to my Facebook business page. It's just health coaching and personal training. And if you send me a friend request, I can invite you to the business page. But check me out. I mean, I'm genuine when I say this. When it comes to working with new people, I want to do that free consultation. I want to get to know each person because I want to see if we're a good fit. Like, are you a good fit for me? Am I a good fit for you? Do I even offer what you're looking for? And then check me out, check out my Facebook page,
Right.
check me out on Google. See, am I someone who's preparing for a pageant? No, I've never done it. I'd refer you to Crystal, Me personally, yeah, I've done a ton of long distance events. That would be a great person for me to work with. I can prepare you and help you get through those events, hopefully injury free, in a good time, finish in a good time. But just reaching out to me and having a conversation, and like Crystal said, we're human beings too, so, I have a toddler who occasionally gets sick and I have to pick him up. So, there are going to be times I'm not going to be able to get back to everybody every day. But I do my best to correspond as quickly as I can. So.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And really, guys, it's so true. Elaine, she's very genuine and just very down to earth. She's going to make you feel very comfortable, when you talk to her and call her. And I feel like talking to you, like we haven't known each other very long, but like when we got together, I felt like we were old friends. And I just
me too.
like,
me too.
that's the kind of person that
me too.
that you want to get to know. So, definitely I recommend you to everybody. It's really, really awesome. So
thank you.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Thank you for waking up and being here and having this. Your podcast is awesome. I've watched some of the other episodes. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah. And I'm sure the two of us will be talking as we, transition back into our normal lives after COVID.
Normal.
So
yeah. All right.
Well, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we'll get some nicer weather here. And we'll see each other soon.
Okay.
Thanks again so much.
You. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys. Bye.